I want to pull back the curtain on a sleazy tactic that's way more common than it should be, especially in the world of home repairs. I'm talking about those ridiculously long, high-pressure sales pitches from companies that are supposed to just be giving you a quote, but end up trying to wear you down into signing a deal you're not ready for. And it didn't just happen once, it's happened more than 3 times. One company came out for gutters, another for roof and gutters, and the last one was for windows. In every single case, what should have been a simple quote turned into a 2 to 3 hour pitch that felt more like a timeshare seminar than a consultation. Before we jump in, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on all my socials. I'm often live on Twitch, posting on Blue Sky and Mastodon. I'm also on TikTok and chatting with my community on Discord and Matrix. All the links are in the description, and supporting on all these different platforms, including here, is one of the best ways to keep this content going. Let's get into it. The long-winded trap. I see some of you commenting, wow, you are long-winded. No, we're talking about these guys even worse. So here's the pattern. You call a company to get a quote for a roof, gutters, or windows. You're thinking, cool, they'll take a look, maybe measure some things and get back to me. Instead, it turns into a full-blown, hours-long presentation, product samples, slide decks, certifications, lifetime warranties, company history, all under the guise of explaining their value. And a lot of this stuff is stuff you should know and learn about from your contractor or company that you're dealing with to actually ascertain the value of getting the product from them and how they can back the work. But this isn't a pitch. It's a psychological operation. It's built to mentally wear you down and make you say yes just so it's over. And here's something to look out for. These companies often are very quick to come out, usually faster than you'd expect. Why? Because they know if you get quotes from anyone else first, they'll lose. Their entire strategy is urgency and pressure. They don't want you to compare. Above all else, remember this, they're salespeople. They work on commission. If they don't close the deal while sitting at your table, they don't get paid. Even if you call back later, that's why the pressure is relentless. They're not just selling a roof. They're protecting their paycheck. They're paying for their roof by charging your roof. The social engineering breakdown. These aren't just annoying sales calls. This is full-on social engineering, and they know exactly what they are doing. Here's how the manipulation often works. Authority.
Respect my authority!
They throw around fancy certifications, branded samples, and name drop their suppliers like it's gospel. Where I understand you want to know the suppliers they use and do your own research to make sure that they're actual quality. It's the way that they present that and a lot of the things that we're going to discuss. Scarcity. If we leave today, we can't offer this price again. A honest, reputable company will never do this once we leave, the price is gone. They will leave you the quote with the pricing as an option and allow you to continue on with your additional quotes. And maybe we'll ask, hey, I know you have other quotes coming your way. When do you think you might have this all wrapped up, or when should I call you back again? If they're trying to close the deal right then and there, that may be a red flag. Urgency. We have a crew available this week. We're already paying them, so we can knock off a few grand if you sign now. Or very similar things to get you to sign right here, right now. Reciprocity. They act like they're making exceptions just for you, because now you've become such great friends after you've talked so much about different things. They want to help you out. It's a little bit of a red flag there. Commitment. They get you saying yes to small things to build a pattern of agreement. And this is a very common tactic, I can tell you, from when I used to do sales back in the day when I worked retail. You ask questions that lead them into saying yes, that they become more comfortable with saying yes to you, that eventually when you need to pull the trigger, that is what happens. Fear of loss. I'd hate to see you miss this deal or go with someone who cuts corners. And it's one thing for a contractor or such to talk about how there are unsavory and, unethical people in the business. That's just unfortunately how every industry is, but it's the way they go about talking about it that is of issue. And once they're in your house, sitting at your kitchen table, that's where it really starts. They'll try to connect with you, ask about your pets or kids, compliment your furniture, talk about your hobbies, act like your buddy, blowing smoke up your butt to build false trust. That's not good customer service. That's manipulation. Why it works on vulnerable people. And This is the worst part. These tactics work exceptionally well on vulnerable people. I'm talking about older adults, people who live alone, or anyone who's not used to saying no to aggressive salespeople. These folks are polite, trusting, and more likely to default to believing the professional in front of them. So after 2+ hours of fake urgency, price drops, and sales theater, they say yes, not because they want to, but because they feel like they have to. This is exploitation, and it needs to be called out for what it is: social engineering. Let's talk about my experience. Real prices, fake discounts, and why they never had a shot to begin with. One gutter company quoted me $6,500. Another quoted me $19,500 for roof and gutters combined. All the people I dealt with that actually gave me the services laughed at these prices. Because then came the pressure. The $6,500 job dropped to $4,500, only if I signed that day. The $19,500 combo slashed to $12,500, but it only was valid that day. The window company quoted me $14,000, then they magically offered $11,000 on the spot, but only if I signed that day. The company I actually went with for my windows, under $9,000. Meanwhile, I had other quotes, the in-and-out, no BS companies, at $1,000 to $3,000 for gutters and $7,000 to $9,000 for roofs. These people try to frame it like you're getting a deal. But when a price drops thousands just because you hesitate, not because you're haggling and negotiating, it's not a discount. That's a scam tactic. Now, these tactics might work on some people, but they ran into the wrong guy. I'm a cybersecurity professional. I'm trained in social engineering, and I've got Moroccan roots. Yeah, that's right. Salam alaikum, habibi. I grew up in the US, but I lived in the Middle East for a few years. I was raised by a sharp, no-nonsense Moroccan grandmother, who ran a business and would have made these sales reps cry before breakfast. Bartering was a sport. It was her lifestyle. You act disinterested. You start walking away. You let them chase you. So when these guys tried the markdowns and manipulation on me, it was laughable. They had zero chance of getting me off my game. Let's take a quick break before we talk about what good companies actually look like and how to protect yourself from these shady tactics. Big thanks to today's sponsor, Proton. You know how these reps always ask for your phone and email up front? Yeah, don't give them a real email. That's why I use SimpleLogin. Part of the Proton ecosystem. It lets you create email aliases so you can mask your real inbox. If a company starts spamming you or sells your info, you just kill the alias. Done. Proton also gives you Proton Mail, Proton VPN, Drive Pass, and more, built with end-to-end encryption, no ads, and zero access to your data. They're open source, based in Switzerland, and built for people who care about privacy and control on the internet and in real life. Try Proton and SimpleLogin using my link below. You support the channel, and you protect yourself. What good companies actually look like. The one I hired, local, reputable, in and out, in 15 minutes, aside from the actual work, of course. They measured, asked a few solid questions, played with my dogs, and left. 2 days later, I had a clean written quote, proof of insurance and bonding, references, and most importantly, no pressure. Confidence doesn't need a 3-hour pitch. Good companies let their work speak for themselves. Tips to protect yourself against social engineering with sales. So here's how to protect yourself or someone in your family from these exhausting tactics. Set expectations up front. I will not be making any decisions today. I'm collecting quotes. They may try to pressure you into sales, but keep firm on this. Keep the conversation outside if possible. Once they're in your home, they'll try to build emotional connection. Outside, they stay professional and focused. Only when I agree with a rep, I often try to bring them inside. The couple of exceptions where there was bad weather when I didn't have that as an option. Expect the markdown trap. They'll slash prices dramatically to manufacture urgency. Don't fall for it. Hold your ground. Remember, they're trying to close the deal before they walk out because they lose their commission if they don't. That's the real pressure. Always get at least 3 to 4 quotes. Real professionals don't mind being compared. Be cautious with national brands. In my experience, they're the worst offenders when it comes to manipulation. There are some local companies that are bad just as well, but it's usually the national companies. Don't be afraid to shut it down. If they push, dismiss your boundaries, or start circling, walk them out. You don't owe them anything. So here's the bottom line. If a company pressures you into signing on the spot, if they drop thousands just to close, and that's not because you're properly negotiating, if they need 3 hours to convince you they're better, they're not better, they're just better at manipulation. Trust your gut, protect your time, and don't let anyone sell you something through exhaustion and guilt. If this helped you, smash that like button, subscribe, and follow me on all my socials. I stream live on Twitch, post on Blue Sky and TikTok, as well as Mastodon, and chat in our Matrix and Discord communities. All the links are in the description. Drop a comment with your worst sales pitch story. I'd love to hear it. Until next time, happy hacking and stay sharp.